Hey everybody, how you doing? Mark here, standing in my kitchen ready to do some baking today. And with the holidays coming in, Thanksgiving's right around the corner, and man, I tell you, I want to make one of my favorite pies. I mean, ever since I was a kid, this has always been the top of my list. I don't care if you talk blueberry pies or apple pies or strawberry rhubarb or pecan pies or anything like that. This pie is always at the top of my list, and that is a pumpkin pie. Now, the thing is I don't do a whole lot of baking, and I'm not really good on making pie crusts, okay? So I am going to use a store-bought frozen pie crust to do this. However, I am going to use a real pumpkin, okay? So what we're going to do, it's real simple. We're going to bisect this, cut it in half, scoop out all the seeds and guts out of it. We're going to place it on a parchment lined baking sheet and place it in the oven 350 for 45 minutes or so, just until you can take a paring knife or even a fork and it pierces through real easy, okay? That's all we got to do. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is set my oven to 350 and get that preheating. Okay, so like I said, we are going to need a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. This is an old baking sheet. This is actually my mother's, and I took it when Jen and I got married and I moved out of the house and started living on my own. I took the baking sheet with me. Don't tell Mom. Okay, so now all we gotta do is just get a knife and a cutting board and cut this sucker apart. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is actually remove this stem. Just try to pull it off if I can, just like that. And now if you have a good sized meat cleaver, it's probably the best thing to actually use on getting this cut in half. I don't have one, so I'm just going to use my largest chef's knife. Just place it on there, and I'm just going to tap and take it down. Just be careful of the point. There, just like that. That was pretty easy. Okay, now we got to scoop out all these internal guts. Just get a good size heavy duty spoon and just scoop out, just like if you were to carve a pumpkin. So just dig around until you get it all out of there. Okay, got all the pumpkin guts out of the pumpkin. We don't need to oil it or anything. We just need to flip these over, just like that. Okay, so flipping the pumpkins upside down like this actually creates like a steaming effect on the inside. So that way it cooks really well, even though the skin is still on and everything. You don't get a whole lot of browning this way. But like I said, we're just trying to cook it is all we're doing. We're not looking for a browning color or anything like that. So let's get these in the oven. All right, my oven's up to temperature, so let's get these in. Then I'm gonna set my timer for, I'm gonna start with 30 minutes and check them, but I'll probably go a full 45, so. All right guys, so I actually just screwed up. I double checked my recipe because the timing just didn't seem right on the cooking of the pumpkin. It's supposed to be in there for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, depending on the size of your pumpkin. So I changed my time to an hour instead of a half hour, okay? Just letting you guys know. All right guys, as you can tell from the beeper, my timer has gone off. I'm gonna leave my oven on for now because I don't know if I'm gonna have to keep cooking or not. Get myself a little paring knife here. Ooh. Quite a bit of liquid has come out. There's a bunch of liquid in the pan there. That's a good sign. Oh yeah. So yep, 1 hour for me is plenty. Let's see if I can get this out of here without spilling all this juice all over the place. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it sit here and let these cool so I can start gutting out the flesh, and then we'll process it a little bit and make it into a nice paste. Is that the word I'm looking for? Oh, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. So yeah, I'm just gonna let this sit here for probably a good hour, maybe two, just to cool down. All right, cool. Okay, it's been a while now and the pumpkin has cooled off quite nicely. I can touch it with my hands without hurting myself. It's still a little warm, but not bad. So I got myself a little bowl. We're gonna start scraping out the flesh of the pumpkin. So look down here and let's get at it. All right, we're just gonna pick it up. Look how, you know, that juice ring around there. Oh, that's nice. And we're just gonna scrape it out. This is really super easy, and the skin is so firm yet that as long as you're using like a spoon, you will not cut through the skin of the pumpkin unless you're like really digging hard. So yep, just kind of go through and just scrape. It's curling up on me. Tell you, this is almost like handling the skin of a football without it being inflated. All right, that's pretty good. Yeah. That's a nice clean scrape there. See, my football deflated. We'll just do the same thing to this other one. All right, so there you go. There is a bunch of pumpkin. Now I could have scraped all that pumpkin into like my food processor or something like that, but I'm just gonna put my stick blender to it, and I'm hoping that it will give me a good consistency. I haven't really used this to make pumpkin pie before, so let's try it and see how it works. Right. Yeah, that was a little loud and everything because that loud clunking noise you were hearing was when air gets caught inside the blender. But I would say that looks really good. Okay, it's at this time now where you have some choices on what you can do with this stuff. You can put a lid on this, cover it with saran wrap, put it in plastic baggies, and freeze it, okay? It freezes actually quite well. But I wouldn't keep it frozen for too long. I might only go maybe a top of 6 months. I wouldn't really push it anything beyond that. Or you can just set it in the refrigerator, which is what I'm going to do, because I'm going to use this tomorrow and we're going to finish off the pies, okay? I just don't have the time to do it today, so we're just going to finish it tomorrow. Okay, so I'll see you guys tomorrow and we'll finish our pumpkin pie. Cool. Okay everybody, it is pie making day today and I got everything laid out on the counter, so let me show you exactly what we have. Now I want to let you know that that one pumpkin gave me enough pumpkin puree to do 2 pies. So I'm actually going to make both pies, but when I'm telling you the ingredients, it's just for 1 pie, okay? So let me show you what I got going on. Okay, so this is what I got. I've already separated out my pumpkin. There are 2 cups in these containers. So 2 cups here, 2 cups here. I'm going to do all my mixing in this bowl. Okay, keep in mind too that you do not have to roast your own pumpkin, okay? If you want to go out and buy a can of pumpkin puree, go right ahead, okay? It'll be just as good, and sometimes I think even a little bit better than roasting your own pumpkin. But I wanted to actually do it. My daughter brought home that pumpkin. I wanted to use it. So that's why I did it. But yeah, otherwise everything else is all the same. All the ingredients are all the same, even if you used a canned pumpkin puree. All right, cool. Let's get into this. I'm going to need 1/2 of a cup of brown sugar, 1/3 of a cup of white sugar, a full can of evaporated milk. So you can also substitute 1.5 cups of heavy cream for the evaporated milk. I need 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon ground nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of lemon juice, and 1/8 teaspoon of ground cardamom. I've got my pie shells out thawing. Oh, I almost forgot too. I'll need 3 eggs. I need 2 whole eggs, and then I need the yolk out of 1 egg. So yeah, I'm gonna have to separate a couple of eggs here. But I got those ready to go as well. Remember, 2 whole and a yolk, okay? Okay, so the first thing we need to do is set our oven for 425 degrees. Just like that. Guys, I mixed this all together. I forgot to hit the record on the camera. I can't believe I did that. But luckily I'm making a second one. So now that I see that it is for sure recording, I'm going to do all the mixing into here. I can't believe I did that. Okay, well anyway, to start off with, so here's my bowl. This is my 2 cups. Here's my 2 cups of pumpkin puree. Okay, and then we're going to measure out our 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And remember, always pack the brown sugar. And I always go for the darker brown sugars. I don't really care for the light. I like the stronger molasses taste of the dark brown sugar. 1/3 cup of white sugar. Add my can of evaporated milk. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. 1/4 teaspoon of ground clove. 1/4 teaspoon of lemon juice. Just a scant little 1/8 teaspoon of the cardamom. All right, now remember, I gotta separate 1 egg, so let's get that done with. Okay, so there's my 1 egg yolk, and then 2 whole eggs on top of that. Now don't forget, these egg whites here, you can freeze these. Just put them in an ice cube tray and freeze them. That's all you got to do, or just put them in your next omelet or something. All right, now I'm going to just take my hand mixer here, low speed, and just bring it all together. All right, that looks pretty well mixed together. All right, looks like my pie shells are doing okay as far as being able to roll out. So I'm just going to take them and place them in my pan. Trying to press it down into the corners all the way around. There we go. All right, I'd say that's pretty decent there. All right, I'll roll out this other one. Just a little sticky. There we go. Still just a little frozen right in that little core center area, so it kind of tears just a little bit right there. All right, so again, just place it in the pan. Get it to where the sides will be covered. Push it into the corners. Then you can go around the sides and take out all these little wavy bits here. I'm not worried about you know, this area's got some up over the edge and this one doesn't. I'm not worrying about that. There, that looks pretty good. Give this a quick stir with the little rubber spatula here, just to make sure that there was nothing stuck on the bottom. Shouldn't have been, but you never know. Pour it right in. Ooh. Yeah, that's right up to the edge right there. Do the same thing with this one here. Just kind of scrape around, make sure that nothing was stuck to the bottom. Okay, there we go. Now we can get these into the oven. Okay, got the pies in 425 degrees. Now we're going to start by only doing 15 minutes at that temperature. And then after the 15 minutes, we'll knock it down to 350, and then we'll finish it for another like 45 to 50 minutes. All right, guys, so that first 15 minutes is done with, so we're going to turn that off. And now I need to take this down to 350. I'll start that, put a new timer on, and we're going to start with 45 minutes. After the 45 minutes, we'll check the pies, see how they're doing, see if it needs another 5-10 minutes or something like that, okay? Cool. All right, guys, that was the timer. Turn that off. I'm not going to turn off the oven just yet, because I don't know if I have to cook it for the next, another 5-10 minutes. So I'm going to leave it on for now. All right, come here, guys. All right, to tell if your pie is done, okay, I can almost tell right now it's not. Just take a knife and you put it in the center. See how it's got a little bit of goop on the blade of the knife there? We don't want that. We want it wet, but nothing goopy. So yeah. So it's goopy. We're going to keep it in there for, I'm going to do the full 10 minutes. Okay, so that is done. The added 10 minutes is done now. We'll see how they go. Okay, still jiggly, that's fine. Jiggle's fine. I'm gonna go and pierce it again. See that, it's still coming out a little bit dirty. I think I'm going to give it another 10 minutes. All right, there's that second 10-minute time. So for those counting at home, that's been what, an hour and 5 minutes now. And again, we're going to do the exact same thing. All right, that one's clean. And that one's clean. Okay, so the pies are now done. All right, so I can turn off the oven now. And I have set up a little cooling rack right here by the window. And yes, the window is open, so it's gonna blow some nice autumn air over the pies and they'll cool down. I'm gonna leave them sit up here for 2 hours minimum. All right, time to wait 2 hours. Well, it wasn't the cleanest removal of a pie from a pan, but you know what? I'm going to eat it anyway. So let's see how it goes. Pumpkin pie just puts a smile on my face. The pie crust is okay. I mean, for a pre-made store-bought, it's not bad. But the filling is awesome. And a little bit of cardamom in there is just so powerful. You can really taste it. And that's like the smallest ingredient we have in here. Now, typically I would put whipped cream on the top. That's how I like it, but I don't have any. In fact, you can do even more to a pumpkin pie. You can make a streusel, and halfway through the baking process, sprinkle the streusel all over the top of the pie. You can do that. You can put pecans on it, a little bit of maybe a clover honey or something like that. Just a little drizzle on there. Even maple syrup would be good. I mean, there's just so much. Even if you want to do just plain whipped cream, you can throw liqueurs into whipped cream and put it on there. So like an almond liqueur or an apple liqueur or something like that. It'd be really good. I love pumpkin pie. All right, well, this is Mark saying thanks again for watching. I hope you use my pumpkin pie recipe for your holiday event. And I'll see you guys on the road. Bye. Happy holidays.